So as you know, this is a batch for firewall related combo. We learn 5 different technology: Palo Alto, FILTM, Checkpoint, Fortigate, Cisco ASA, FTD. How do we start? What are the first module, second module, third module? It's put up here. So if you see here, on 22nd, we will start with 2 modules. Okay, so this would start, the first one would start at 7 p.m. and on the same day, 9 p.m. we would start Palo Alto. So if you're complete new, go with 1 module at a time. You might prefer taking Palo Alto first, or you might prefer taking FILTM, or if you think you can dedicate the time, then go with both. It's up to your call, you to decide. But if you miss anything, don't worry. They get repeated in the next month as well. You can catch up the course and you can finish it off. Okay. So on the 22nd October, there are 2 modules which we start. Why we put 2 modules is because we have some long planned vacation now here in India, and a lot of students have declined the meeting. So I have to retake the classes after 22nd once more. So that's why we are starting from 22nd. We have 2 modules just to cover up whatever we got delayed. We will cover up by having 2 modules at a time. And let's say if this takes 1.5 month, and this takes parallelly 1.5 months. So in a 1.5 month, you are expert with 2 of the module. Then we go with the ASAFTD, which should take another 1.5. Then we complete 1.5 for checkpoint, and then we have the final module. And also here as well, if you see something coming up, let's say when the ASAFTD module is going on, and you come to know that we are starting another new batch of Palo, or at the time of checkpoint you come to know that we are starting another new batch of ASAFTD. So you can join that batch as well. So parallelly you can take it. The timings always differ. Sometimes you can find it during weekend early hours, or might be you can see it getting launched in a weekdays. And if that times permit, feel free to take it up. Okay, so you are flexible. You're flexible with opting of the course. But for the first module, you have 2 options. You can go with FILTM or Palo Alto on the same days. Or if you want to go with both hand by hand, then feel free, because we are taking 1 hour here and 1 hour here. It should not put a lot of burden for someone who is into routing, switching, and bit on security knowledge. Okay, so this is how it's pipelined. And regarding the course curriculum, I'll just walk through what are we covering. So we cover the PCNSA module, is the entry level module, but we also have put the topics from PCNSC advanced level, and also I cover some automation topic from the respective vendor point of view. So you can see that I have put up here Python network automation for Palo Alto. So you cover the official blueprint, plus you will also see the blueprint, the automation blueprint, and also you would be working on the advanced topic. This is the lab topology that we use dedicated for Palo Alto class. These are some of the labs we will discuss here in the Palo Alto. Once this is done, or alternatively or parallelly, you're going with another module. So we cover the exam code 201 for Palo Alto, for FILTM. Once again, I would show you the automation part here, custom portion here. official plus custom. This is the lab topology. We will discuss all the HA pairing and all the topics from the LTM point of view. These are some of the lab topics: iRule, iHealth, profiles, SSL certificate. This is ASA plus FTD module. The third module is ASA plus FTD, firepower module. And we cover up the CCNP next gen firewall as a official blueprint. And same, I would show you some automation topic from there. This is the lab topology. We have two FTD, FMC. We have ASA firewalls kept on the other side. So we will have a comparison between the traditional firewall ASA versus the next generation firewall. These are the lab content for ASA firewall. This is Fortigate. Then we cover NSE 4 structure, and as usual we have the study material, lab for practice, remote server. You have the lifetime access to the recordings, automation topic, and also a bonus lab topology. I'll come to that. What do you mean by a bonus lab topology? When someone take all 5 in one combo. This is the lab topology for Fortigate, and this is the course content for the Fortigate. Then we go with the checkpoint. Checkpoint, we cover the certification CCSA. These are the official curriculum. You will see the official URL for the course syllabus, and also you will see the network journey URL for the course curriculum. And this is what you get with checkpoint: the study material, the lab access, automation topics. This is the lab. So all 5 modules will have its own dedicated lab topology. Once you are done practicing on a dedicated lab topology, we will provide you a bonus topology, which is called as massive lab topology. So what is the benefit of this? The benefit of this is all vendors are deployed on a single lab topology. So you have Checkpoint, you have Palo, Fortigate, ASA. And on the extreme right hand side, you will see F5 LTM based VIPs. Okay. What you configure here, let's say you want to access, might be the user who is sitting here wants to access some services behind this URL, or behind facebook.com, or behind google.com. So how does it work? What are the different L2, L3 path? What are the security policies? Also, you can configure the WAN side. If you want, you can put a simple static route. But what I have done is I've put the MPLS cloud there. And on the other side, you will have the web server concept. So this is how you will create end-to-end flow from a user to the destination. You might have seen this in your enterprise. Okay, more hands-on knowledge when you go with the massive lab. Might be I can ask you to create a VPN between 2 different vendors. I give you a task. There should be a communication between user A and let's say user B. So how is the communication gonna flow? It's gonna go outside of your border router via the MPLS cloud, will come back to the internet router, and this is the server. So you need a IPsec configuration. So if you need IPsec configuration, you need to also do all your L2, L3 security policy. And on the other side, you have to advertise, right? So you might use MPLS, or you might use a static route. You need to know the concept of VPN. How do you configure VPN on Palo? How do you configure VPN on Checkpoint? So this is all done so that you get more grip on the concept. Okay, we don't focus on theory part, we focus on hands-on practical. That is why this lab was designed, so that we give the access to you. And this is pretty big lab. You need at least 64 plus GB of RAM, okay, or more, if you want to run all of them at once. If it is possible to deploy on your server if you have any EXI server, but make sure you have very big RAM installed. On laptop this will not work. On laptop you can run those dedicated labs like Checkpoint or ASA. So these need 16 to 20 GB, but for this you have to rely on our server, or you can purchase a server from eBay or somewhere and take our assistance to build on your server, and we will give it to you. Okay, so that was about massive lab. You get this access once you're done with all the 5 modules. Okay, so that was a bit on the curriculum part. What are we going to cover and all that thing. So this is bit on uh, this is bit from your theory point of view. What firewall technology is on a highest side, or which is the most popular uh, most popular firewall that you have in the network security. So what the graph you see is called as a Gartner graph or Gartner report. So these guys make surveys, and on basis of few factors like the intelligence, the milestones, the updates, the popularity, user interface, or depending on multiple factors, they take the survey, and every 6 months they come up with some outcomes in a graphical mode saying that this is doing uh, this level, this firewall has moved its uh, ranking. Might be this has climbed the ranking, or this firewall is now a better option. So they have a graph which is divided into 4 quadrant. So this is called the first quadrant, this is the second quadrant, and then you have the third quadrant here, and then the fourth quadrant. This is the most preferable one or preferred one. This is next to that. Okay, then you have the third one and fourth one. So as per leader, these have their milestone set. They are working on the automation scope, they are working on all the user based issues. So who are the leading ones? We have Palo Alto, Fortigate, and Checkpoint. So 3 modules which is part of this curriculum is already the leader. What else we had? We had Cisco. So Cisco is also very close to leader. So in some surveys you will see Cisco is also put up here. In some you will see Cisco is here. That can happen with anyone else, like Fortinet. You can see it here sometime. You will see Fortinet here, depending upon the performance. Okay, it's like they receive 2 negative comments. Might be their ranking might go bit less for that quarter. Next time they don't get any negative, they are back to the leader quadrant. Okay, so this is the 4 technologies that we have as a topmost competitor. And the fifth one that we had is called Big IP. Big IP is not a network firewall, so remember that. That is why you will not see Big IP in this graph. Big IP is a load balancer. So this is a different type of technology, load balancer. They are not firewall, but why did we consider in the 5 module is because this goes hand by hand, and this is very popular technology. Most of guys nowadays ask the knowledge of firewall with LTM, load balancer. So if you know 4 firewalls, you can still manage any number of other firewalls. Like if you have Sophos, you can still expect a lot of things would be very similar for any other firewall. Sophos, or you have Cyber Roam, or let's say you have uh, what else? Let's say some Microsoft or some Sonic Wall, Barracuda. They will still have a very similar features of any other firewalls. So why to spend a lot of time on reading another firewall? We can be benefited if we have a LTM added up, because as I told you, this combination is usually asked these days. An expert with firewall with load balancer knowledge. That's why we included big IP into this. Okay, so the graph that you see is for 2020. If I show you a graph captured a long time back, 10 years back, see this is 2020, 2019, 2018, and this is I think 2010 something. So let's see where was Palo Alto. Palo Alto was the lowest now. See, Palo Alto was the lowest. Palo Alto has worked on lot of factors to climb the ladder, and now they are leading the firewall industry. Okay, they have such a unique patent features with them, like the concept of app ID, user ID, the decryption profile. So they have a lot of patent features which makes Palo Alto the most popular. But again, the firewalls always depend on the budget as well. Let's say if a small scale enterprise user, his requirement is only for 10 user. He just needs a layer 4 firewall, just a source destination port based firewall. So he don't need to invest on Palo Alto. Palo Alto will cost a huge for it. But on other side, if a customer is a large scale guy, large scale enterprise, he have more than 200 users. He need a VPN plus support. He need a SSL certificate. He wants the application layer of inspection. He needs the VPN client, global protect. Okay, so his demand is more. He's a large scale customer, so he might go with Palo Alto or Juniper, ASA, Checkpoint, whatever he wants to. Okay, so the point is, if something is popular doesn't mean that customer has to buy that. It also depends on budgeting system and how many number of users. The rest of the things matters to decide on which firewall to buy. Okay, so if you check a 10 12 years back Gartner report with the latest report, Palo Alto has already climbed the ladder. Juniper was one of the very popular technology long time back, but now if you see, Juniper has come down. It should be, see here, it's here. Okay, it's here. See, Juniper. Whereas earlier Juniper was market leader. Cisco, as I told you, in and out. They are challengers and leaders. So some survey you will see Cisco here, sometimes Cisco would be here. But that's still fine. Okay, they have maintained the level. Fortigate also same thing. Checkpoint also same. They are in and out around here. But Palo Alto has done a lot of things to get completely itself towards the leader zone. So this is a Gartner report. This shows that what's leading the network security industry as of now. And this Gartner report is for firewall. So Gartner are also into the LANs surveys. So you will see which manufacturer is considered to be the good for LAN. You can expect similar thing for CCTV, might be for a WAN technology. So they have a lot of service, but we are discussing about firewall right now. Okay, we are not bothered about other categories. All right, so that was a quick intro. So, guys, before we continue, I would like you guys to open up and let me know what's your background. Are you from a network security side? Have you worked on any firewalls earlier? So, that will help me to even prepare and go in the pace that works for all most of people enrolled. Yes, guys.
Uh,
So,
hi, Sagar. This is Balu. Uh, before my introduction, I have like few questions. Uh, so like earlier when you were showing the slides, so it was saying like the modules are starting from October 22nd. So the module starts from 1 month from now. Is that correct?
yeah, it is close to 1 month. That is why, we thought let's just sync up for a short time here instead of letting a lot of people know, and then the module starts after 1 month. Yeah, it
Okay.
starts after 1 month 22, but meanwhile we will give you the recordings for the previous batch, and the lab access we will give it.
Okay. Okay. And my second question is the one like, do we have any specific like laptop requirements? I heard you saying like 64 GB would be like a good option, but yeah, I would want to like just know like what will be the laptop requirement so that like I can make myself get one laptop based on that, because currently I'm having a MacBook Pro, so I'm not sure whether that works along our coursework, because we have like huge labs, right? So we just want to make sure.
Okay. Yeah, so see, I'll put up that in this way. We have both the facility, classroom, and the online.
Okay.
So if you're from classroom, you can walk to our institute in Bangalore and you can use our infrastructure. So in that case, you do not need to buy anything. But let's say you're taking it completely online. Then for your dedicated lab, the dedicated 5 labs, you need at least 16 to 32 GB of laptop. This should be sufficient to do the regular dedicated lab. But for the massive lab, you need a 64 plus GB. So for this, I would suggest a server, and if you have a VM workstation or EXI, that would be better.
Okay, so if we don't have that, like, then do we have any like virtual lab so we can log into that and then
Yeah,
access that server resources?
that's right. So we give you the remote server access.
Okay.
So when we start with any batch, you will have the access to that particular lab for 2 months.
Okay.
Okay, so which altogether for 5 modules, you're gonna have almost like 10 months of access. So you
Okay.
don't actually need any laptop for this to practice. We provide you the rack server access. It's available
Okay.
online too.
Okay, but laptop requirements are like 16 to 30 GB would be a preferable one,
I
and it
mean,
can be.
if you're going with the remote server,
Mhm.
the burden would be on our server. In that case, you can go with a very small laptop. You can also have your MacBook Pro.
Okay.
Okay, because the load will be on our side. We will give you some public URL. You will
Okay.
access the lab using that. But
Okay.
in case you want to have the setup on your machine, then you need to either have one of this.
Okay. Okay, Dhawan.
Yeah,
I
so
understand.
you
Yeah.
you yeah, so I hope I answered. So
Yes.
are you from the firewall background, or this is your first time?
Yes, Dhawan. To start with, I'm Balu. So I'm currently working for AT&T. So here I'm working as like a network security engineer. So I have started like a few months back. So here we are using like Palo Altos and Junipers. So I have like a basic understanding. So the reason I have chosen this module is to get like good overall experience and become expert in firewalls.
Okay, yeah, welcome. Okay, so guys, who is going next?
Hi, my name is Anil. Um, I am not into actually, the firewall or like, or security. I'm more of like, unified communication. So, I've been working for about past 15 years. So I did work on like, the networking and then probably the firewalls, like, pretty much in the past, that was kind of long ago, So I had some exposure to checkpoint firewalls and, basic data networking. But apart from that, I don't have anything. I'm just trying to, increase my understanding or like, the skill levels into other areas. So which is why I've actually enrolled to this course.
Yeah, okay, Anil, yeah, sure, got it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. And just as a follow-up, Sagar, like, I heard, whatever, like, Balu was asking, I think, it kind of, answered most of my questions either. Now, but, assume if I have my own, configuration, like, the laptop or anything, with, the required configurations. So would you give us like, with some kind of, what do you call, like, an image or anything, for us to load it, or how does that work actually?
Yeah, so see how it works is uh, we usually will share you some Google form on the group, WhatsApp group that you guys are. And in that Google form, you will fill all your details. My backend team will start rolling out the web access logins to you. So in that login details, you will have a lot of other materials that you need for the batch, like the Google Drive links, might be the remote lab access, the support DL, a lot of things that would be put up. So one of that would be the Google Drive. And in that Google Drive, you will have a complete ready-made lab. So you download that lab, which should be in a OVA file, make a appointment with our backend team, and they will help you to install it on your machine over WebEx. Or if you are good enough or you have already worked on EVNG or GNS, then you can also load it on a VM workstation. Otherwise, our backend will help you on the WebEx and guide you to do that.
Okay, so now the reason I actually asked this question, right? So assume if I don't have something today, like, needed configurations, and, I depend on with your remote server and then do the practice. However, if I want to have it with me, so, in the future, say, down the line after 6 months or whatever the time may be, but, if I want to just kind of practice it or refresh my understanding, because as I said, I don't know how, when would I use it, right? So, can I still have it and, keep it with me? So, when I want to practice it, I can practice it. And that's my ask.
Uh, yes, home lab, right? Home lab.
Yeah,
The one.
correct.
Yes,
Right.
yes, yes. That will be with you. It on your home lab, whatever you install, that's yours until your machine is with you and there's no damage happen with your hard disk or you don't lose the file. It's with
Right.
you.
Right. So even the OV I have it. So, tomorrow if I change my laptop or desktop or I have a better server, I can still move it. And then as long as I know the steps, I can still do it. I think that's
Yes,
my
yes,
point.
yes. You
Ah,
can
okay.
recreate it, but you have to configure from the scratch in that case. Okay.
Agreed. That is fine. Sure.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is Ola Shukbo. So basically, I think are you there? Are you hearing me, guys?
Yeah, yes, go ahead.
Okay, so for me, I think majority of the question are the answer, and so we are starting 22nd, and before then, you are more or less going to keep us engaged with the maybe the materials and also the recordings. Fine. So I'm just going to get myself ready for the new, decision. And I notice again, you are starting from Paloalto. So, but it's fine. I think I can always like, start from anywhere. So that's just the takeaway. Then every other questions that I have in terms of lab access, the offline access, how long the access will expire, I think all those the other colleagues or friends have already asked, and I think I'm fine with that. So thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, sorry about my background. I'm not so I'm familiar with security architecture, what they do, but I don't know these products. I'm familiar with Cisco firewalls, and I've worked on the few of them, and also, but I know networking very well. I have very strong background in the IP MPLS, and I also am a CCIE, certified with very recent. So that means the networking side won't be an issue for me, and I can help with some other guys that might need help as well. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Sure. Thanks. Okay. All right, guys. So just let's move with the next topic. So let's keep it.
But just to make sure, we are not meeting again tomorrow, right? Until 22nd.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. So this is just a kind of briefing session, and we will have everything starting from 22nd only.
Yeah. That's right.
Okay.
Okay. So guys, just a very simple question. What is difference between firewall with your usual router or switch? So what is your point of understanding? Firewall,
With
router, switch.
a router or switch, I can still achieve the restrictions, the port based, or the IP based restrictions along with the protocol. They are still possible. However, on the firewall side of it, forget about the past one, but now I think it understand the application level as well. So you should be able to do better levels of restrictions
Okay.
or control.
Okay. So you went with high level.
Oh,
So,
okay, okay.
okay. Tell me the low level. Let's start with OSI layers and the basic understanding.
Okay, so I don't know how do I say it. Yeah, you have 7 layers, and we have L1, L2, and then until L3.
Yeah.
L3 is where we have
Where
routers.
is firewall get sits?
My understanding, firewall will sit from 4 to 7.
Okay. Usually call layer 3 to layer 7.
Okay.
Okay, there are some firewalls, software-based firewalls, which works only on the network layer.
Okay.
And the router switches, as you know, the switch works on 2. MLS and routers works on layer 3. Okay. And what is that? If I ask you to explain this in one word or two word, so what you think about firewall? What does it do with the packet? When it receive any packet, what does it do?
Inspection.
No, before inspection, what is already set to do?
Okay.
Okay, so whenever any packet comes, it is asked to do deny first. Until or unless you have any ACL statement, the packets are not meant to go with the next steps of inspection or whatever. So first it will check the security policy, what is asked to do. And same thing if from the router and switches, what happens to a packet? It will pass through. There is no such restriction on a router or switch. You just need to have routing table, and on a switch you must have the MAC address table built. It learns it and it will switch that, or it will route it. But in the firewall, even you have MAC address table, routing table, the first thing that you need to see is whether ACL says allow or deny. And if there is no ACL, that means it's to deny only. There is no second thing or nothing like you should allow or deny or something. So it will deny the packet. Yeah. Now you can think about having the inspection in the application layer. Whereas in the router or switch, if you come up with the ACL, they are still using the based on source, destination, and the port number only, the three tuples. Okay. Whereas here in the application, it will also dig deep into the packet and see what content it is, whether it's a SSH packet, it's a WhatsApp, it's a Facebook, whatever it is, and it will match it with the signature. There is a concept of signed signature. So WhatsApp server will have its own signature. The Facebook will have its own. And if the Palo Alto determines it, then it is gonna categorize that packet saying this is a Facebook video messenger packet, or if it is for WebEx, the packets will automatically get categorized in the application type of firewalls. And if something is not identified, then it will call it as unknown TCP or unknown UDP. And whatever we would have put the security policy to deny or approve, accordingly, the firewall will do the job. Okay. So that is what the difference between a firewall and router. But firewall has many more features. Say, for example, on firewalls, you might have heard about encryption. Encryption is one concept where packets are being sealed with SSL encryption and sent over on the internet. But there is something called as decryption also. Now some packets are coming in with a SSL header, and you just don't blindly want to send that packet to the backend. You can open the packet. You can open the packet, see what is the content. If it's a matching with the Facebook data, WhatsApp data, then if the signature is matched, it will re-encrypt, push to the backend. The backend person, whoever is user or whatever who is receiving, he will, let's say the packet go back to the firewall. Firewall will send back to whoever the client initiated. So firewall will act as a transparent device here. But it will do the work of decrypting, packing, once again sending back. The server will not know that there is an intermediate person who is doing all this. Neither the client will know there is an intermediate person who is trying to read my content and pass it on to the destination. But we can do that in Palo Alto type of firewalls, where we can decrypt the packet and see the content, and we can put the restriction as well. If it is a packet, let's say Facebook has different services. I want to block only the web of it, or the chat messenger of it. So for that reasons and all, I need to decrypt, I need to check the content. But again, this can lead to some issues in some country, because if, let's say, you're making use of some banking transaction, so the packet will get converted into a plain text by firewall. What if on the firewall you have enabled the mirror option? There is chances the other person can read the code, or the transaction code in terms of code, right? So which is not good. So as per country law, you are not supposed to do it. That is also mentioned in the Palo Alto website. So guys, give me just 1 minute. Yeah, guys, I'm back. Sorry. Yeah, so as I was telling, the decryption is one such feature. There are terms like app ID. All applications get categorized. You can also define an unknown traffic. Let's say inside your enterprise, you have your Palo Alto plugged upon. You are initiating some traffic, but the traffic was not being categorized. Already, Palo Alto will have close to 3,000 different types of application categorized. But let's say something apart from it. You can create them. You can define the signature, you can define the algorithms, you can create it. So next time, why we need to categorize is, if I have categorized, there is some more features like override features, using which I can avoid my Palo Alto to work or perform on a L7 basis. I can say it's a known app. Why should I ask my Palo Alto to reprocess in from the application layer? So in that case, Palo Alto will work in the L4 layer itself, just to avoid unnecessary burden on your Palo Alto. Okay, so this is where these concepts come: app ID. Then you have something called as uh, user ID. Your guests, your users, employees, each and every one is being tracked. The behavior, the activity, which server he is using the most, what he does after that. So the complete activity get traced. There is also another thing which is called as device ID. These are some unique features of firewall which you don't see on a router or switch. Okay. Okay, now regarding, let's say after this, if we know the difference between firewall and router, let's say so where are firewalls plugged? Where is the right way to plug the firewall? So let's say if I have a 3-tier architecture, these are my end PCs. I got a access layer switch. Usually I also have a distribution layer switch, and then I have a core layer router. So where do you think we should keep the firewalls?
Core. On top of core, like, exposing to external network.
Okay, so that is one place where we can keep it. So I can keep it here, where my firewall is asked to do all the security checks. But in some small scale industry, they remove the router, unnecessary router. They make this firewall to act as router plus the security appliance device. Okay. Again, uh, this is again requirement basis, not really needed that if firewall can do routing or support routing, it should be used as a router. You still would like to keep your routing plus NAT concept on a router itself, and on the firewall you can configure the security checks, the application inspection, the decryption, the certificates, all those things you can keep on the firewall itself. But yes, as I told you, if it is a small scale industry, might be they think twice, why should I have another piece of device, why can't the firewall be used? Yes, you can still use that. Okay, it depends on the requirement. So here is one place where firewalls can be plugged properly, where can be the second option? Where do you think I should also keep a firewall? Have you guys heard about something called as DMZ, demilitarized zone?
Yeah.
Okay. So see, I'll tell you, once you have the firewalls on your extreme on the WAN side, you do not need a high another firewall with very high specs, but yes, you still might need a firewall which can be kept as a gateway for some of the uh, networks. For which networks, I'll tell you. Let's say your network for MySQL servers, DB servers, might be application server. These are all servers. What happens if these networks are behind a router as a gateway, or a layer 3 as a gateway, or a layer 3 switch as a gateway? Let's say if this was a Catalyst 6500 and you have this acting as a gateway for even these mission critical servers. Anyone from your network can make a ping on them, put unnecessary SSH on them. There is a risk that this server can get uh, get corrupted due to the DOS attack or DDoS attack if you are not segregating them in a network, or you're not restricting, or you're not having any security mechanism to stop the unnecessary SSH or ping. So in such reasons, what we do is we keep a firewall even on the distribution layer. Let's say I have a firewall here. My intention is that only to keep this gateway there, the gateway for this mission critical servers. As we know, firewall is implicit deny. So by default, any XY person cannot reach to those mission critical servers. If they want to, they will send the request, they will send a ticket request to the network firewall team asking allow the port number between this source, this destination, this port with allow permit condition. So this should be approved by his manager or whoever is that IT security person. He has to also approve that. And then the network security guy, what he does, he will put the ACL here on the firewall, saying this source to this whatever destination he wants to, for this particular port number or this particular service needs to be allowed. Okay, so firewall plays very crucial role even in the LAN segment to avoid unauthorized ping, unauthorized SSH. So now in this case, you can protect your mission critical servers. And also keeping us firewall here, you can divide the customer services, or let's say these are your internal servers. Only your employees needs the access. But there could be some servers which you have sold it to customer. You are a software based company. You have sold your software license to a customer, and that customer has to access your server. So in that case, you can keep those in the DMZ zones, demilitarized zones. Advantage of keeping them in the DMZ is, for some reason, if the packets are compromised, because let's say customer, where is the customer is accessing from internet, okay, and his packet has been compromised by man in middle, you can still segregate the server so that his traffic goes accordingly to that particular DMZ zone itself. So if this customer who is Coca-Cola, and he has been assigned this server Coca-Cola. So he have access to only this. Even if there is some issue, we can just close this connection and we can just recreate his entire VMs on another DMZ and we can allow the connection. What happens if we would have kept his server here and the entire thing goes down? We will lose our own servers, plus we will lose our different customers' servers for his poor network security infrastructure. Okay, so for that we try to segregate the DMZ and segregate the servers, and we keep in the demilitarized zone. So they will be in a different logical places. Okay, so this is how the firewalls can be used. It can be used on the WAN side for routing, NAT, security policy, inspection, all those reasons. We can also keep it in the LAN side for restriction between other users pinging mission critical servers. Okay, so the gateway will be configured on the firewall, not on the layer 3 device here. So that is about the deployment. So let's say, do you guys know the different ways of firewall deployment? What are the different ways the firewalls can be deployed? Do it needs to be hardware always? Do a firewall needs to be hardware always, or have you seen the other types of firewalls as well?
Not necessarily. For that reason, I think checkpoint is software, right? So
A checkpoint, they also have blades.
planes. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Okay.
All firewalls will have their hardware feature,
Okay.
but they also have a software functionality. So software you can load on the virtualization or VMs.
Okay.
And also nowadays we have the cloud option. So if you open AWS Marketplace or Azure Marketplace, you will get a ready-made Palo Alto. You need to buy the license, and that's all. So if I show you here, AWS Marketplace, Palo Alto. You need to sign up for this cloud AWS service. Whatever firewalls you want to use, you can use it because they have this as a service now, cloud firewall as a service. But you need to have a license. For some version, you need to have the license. For some, they will be already licensed, but the pay would be a bit more. So they are charging one per hour. Might be this will be a lesser amount in that case.
Sharing something? Sharing
Okay.
something? Okay.
1 second. Okay, do you see now? Do you see now?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm showing you guys the AWS Marketplace, which is a cloud solution. You can see the Palo Alto's different products, Panorama. This is bring your own license. They will provide you the software, but you can bring the license and activate it. They also have a version where you already have the license and you can work on it. Similar way, if you want to have a checkpoint. See, checkpoint also there is one. Bring your own license. Let's see for Fortigate. See, Fortigate also there. Okay. So these are the different methods for having the deployment. Hardware, definitely not all can purchase because of its cost, the power that is required. Software, is for someone who still wants to use Palo Alto or any office required device. He just need to buy the license. Okay, Palo Alto has plenty of license subscription. So we'll cover this. There are at least 8 to 10 different licenses available in Palo Alto alone. Threat prevention, wildfire, antivirus, anti-spyware. Okay, there's so many license subscription. With a non-licensed product, you can only do the traffic policy, security policy you can apply. You can do basic troubleshooting. You can do NAT routing. For those things, license are not required. You need license when you are using the next gen concept, when you're inspecting the packet, whenever you have a security policy and you're applying the antivirus profiles or that. For all that things, you need a license subscription. Okay, this happens for all the product. If you have Fortigate, they will have their own terms and condition. FTD has its own terms and condition. They give you 30 days of free license, eval license, which we call. FI also provides you some license, which we can register on their website, and then we activate on our side. We can then work on their LTM module. So every product has their own way to deal with this. Palo Alto will not give any license. With the free Palo Alto, you can do all the regular activities. But if you need license, you have to talk to the Palo Alto sales and get the license, and you can use it, or you can go with the AWS solution. So if you have AWS solution, you can also reserve it and take it. All right, so guys, we will wind up here. In the next class, we will continue with the types of firewalls and all those things. So are we good so far?
Yes, Sagar.
Okay. All right, guys. So I'll wind up here and we'll share you the recording. We'll connect on the class. So next, the further communication will post up on the WhatsApp group itself. Okay. So thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Sagar.
Sagar.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.